Ladies and gentlemen, episode 59 of the EE Powertalk. My name is Daddy Blessing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 59 of the EE Powertalk. My name is Elvis.
Yeah, and in this particular episode, we are going to talk about something called a mindset shift. Yeah.
Have you shifted your mindset in 2025?
It has become a compulsory thing to do, even when you're not willing to change. Because staying in one place in terms of thinking really has very rapid consequences, because people will start moving and leave you where you are. In all contexts, by the way.
True. Today we have a topic of discussion on the mindset shift.
Sure.
And how to stop overthinking and take action on your dreams.
I call it analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Explain.
When you overanalyze something, you'll waste a lot of time analyzing, and it will eat up to the time that you are supposed to be executing that particular idea.
One time, when I was starting TikTok, I had this idea of, what if I start TikTok and these guys who are on TikTok start insulting me? I nikafikiria.
Yeah.
And I remember one day sitting down and asking myself, if I don't shift my kind of thinking and think that the only thing I'm going to be getting is a negative perception, it's called the fear of failure. Like utapata, you're going to get like all these negativities.
Yes.
Probably you might start shooting your videos and no one is going to like them.
Yeah.
It's something that is so common today that people have to shift in thinking in that kind of a perspective.
And also, it goes without saying that what you're looking for is what you'll get. Because if you concentrate on looking at the negativities of something, that's the only thing you will see about.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen people who have business ideas? They've been thinking on that business idea for 4 years.
Yes.
4 years, anakaanga tu.
Thinking.
Strategy. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
When I launched that business, and then someone comes and tells you, I'm starting a business.
Yes.
Nothing much. 2 days, 3 weeks later,
next thing you're seeing is a business. Yeah.
And I think it's something very common. You find that so many people sit on ideas.
Yeah.
You're paralyzed. You've doubted yourself.
Correct.
Yeah. And you don't even know it yourself, but you're just like doubting yourself. You can do something because there is that, as you said, analysis paralysis. Yeah.
There is power in hitting the ground running. We always give an example of how this particular podcast was started. We didn't analyze anything. Like we actually put nothing into consideration. We are like, okay, we have the capability to start. Why not start? We had a meeting for a few hours. The next thing is a shoot next week, and the rest is history. As opposed to sitting down now, over strategizing, bringing people on board that are not supposed to be there, because we think those are the people that will bring, the aesthetics that we see in other podcasts and making the podcast successful and all those things. But the fact that we hit the ground running, there are some things that we have acquired along the way that are forever inbuilt in us. Now we know how to create proper systems when it comes to running such a... Yeah.
Now, on to the topic of discussion for the day. We have overthinking, self-doubt,
yes,
and people not working on their dreams because of the fear of failure. I have been one person who sees it on social media.
Yes.
Getting like 50,000 followers on social media is not easy.
It's not.
It makes you sit down, stop overthinking, and just do.
Yes.
Many other times we sit down and overthink about something for so long. Like, if I look, I want you to me this very simple example of how the government wastes time before it implements projects.
Yes.
When they're doing things like feasibility tests, when they are doing strategies, it takes like 3 years. And they're doing this because they are fearful that it might fail.
Yeah.
And eventually it fails.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say that just set the groundwork running, fail, learn.
Correct.
Or lack to do and not learn at all. I've seen even how people are very specific about social media.
Yes.
Perfectionism is one of the things, because perfectionism is like something subject to overthinking. You create a post.
Yes.
You've written a very good post. You want to share it on Facebook.
Yes.
But you're like, how will people think about me?
It's an issue with being your biggest critic.
Exactly. Self-criticization. Is it self-criticism or self-doubt?
Yeah.
there are 3 reasons why people struggle with
overthinking.
Yeah. Number 1 is the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is wanting everything to be perfect and comparing themselves with others.
Now, when it comes to fear of failure, if you're not, there's something I'm always prepared for. The opportunity that comes after failure. That is how I see it. Because a while ago or earlier, before I changed my mindset and how I view things, I saw failure as condemnation. Like showing you that you're not enough, showing you that you're not cut out for that specific thing. But nowadays, failure, when it comes, it's an opportunity for me to scrutinize where I missed the mark. Because if I had done my calculations properly, I ought to have gotten the results that I desired, right? When you fail, it shows a deficiency in your formulas, which is number 1, a chance to improve on how you approach things. If it is a business you have set up and it has failed, that's not time for, losses sometimes take people to insane places, even mentally and all that. But I take the other side and reevaluate my plan, because again, without a plan is a very perfect plan to fail. So each and everyone has a plan, right? But the moment you fail and fear to start again, or initially fail to start something because you fear it failing, you put yourself in a place where you will never start anything, because eventually your mind will be engineered in a way that anything that you start will be failing.
Which is a very, very bad perspective, especially when it comes to doing things.
Yeah.
Because in your head, you'll be knowing that you have failed before you even start. Comparison.
Yeah.
Umeanza content creation, you've seen how Mr. Beast shoots his videos, and you're
the biggest of them all to ever do it.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
And you're like, he. So you're comparing yourself. You don't even have 1 follower. You don't even have 1 subscriber.
Yes.
But people like to compare themselves. Like I have seen these on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing platform, especially for job seekers, recruiters, and probably even personal brands.
Yes.
It's a good place. For me, I tell people that you don't have to be on LinkedIn to be looking for a job.
Yeah.
So, like, when guys join LinkedIn, growing on LinkedIn is like stuff.
It's tough.
And you see, LinkedIn is that platform that doesn't entertain mediocrity and stupid stuff.
You gotta be good at what you do on LinkedIn.
If you're like an industry expert, you show it.
Yeah.
And then too much talk is not needed on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Hold your horses.
Yeah.
So, like, you find people comparing themselves. LinkedIn has become like this particular platform of aesthetics. I don't know if you've noted it, but I think there's a perfectionism attribute.
Yeah.
Where everything, photo shoots. Guys pay a lot of money. Like someone can even spend 100K on photo shoots every month.
Very easily.
Yeah, because they want to look the part. And I realized that you might join LinkedIn and you start comparing yourself to such a person.
The funny thing is, when it comes to comparison, you might be comparing yourself with someone who is doing things very effortlessly. There is someone whose aesthetics are their lifestyle. Like, that's their daily life.
Exactly.
Then you have to go an extra mile, not even 1, like 1,000 miles to like reach on their level. And then they are just doing it,
casually.
This is something that I'm used to
Others
doing.
are using AI.
Others are using AI.
Someone looks at a photo, it's so perfect. It's AI.
It's AI.
Yeah.
And you go out of your way because of that mentality of, comparison. That's what creates competition within your head. Then now you start competing with someone who is not competing with you.
They don't even have any interest in competing with you.
Yeah, and they don't know even whether you are competing with them. That's the sad thing. So you're in a competition with yourself. You end up losing against yourself. And then now you have to recollect yourself again to a point where you have to build the confidence that you destroyed yourself.
Amazing.
Because once you start comparing yourself, there'll always be someone who will one-up you.
Of course.
Always. And the day I came to find out that one, I was very happy because I know, okay, they are one step ahead because of something special that they are doing, being themselves. I'm one step behind because I'm following them. Do you notice that anyone you're following, they must be ahead of you?
Of course.
That is given.
That is given.
So why are you following people? if you start now moving towards your lane, in career, in skills, and in everything that that you do, even on these social media platforms, create your lane. You know, they are moving this way, you'll be moving this way. At time, you'll be at par because both of you are following their lanes in a speed that is both moderated as per the capabilities that you have as a person, and you're not using so much effort to try to overtake someone that you are using their blueprint. Because if you're using someone's blueprint, blueprint, you can never overtake them because you don't have the entire map.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's someone who was saying something, it's quite interesting, that competition is and should be you being better than who you are yesterday.
Correct.
It's not really about being better than someone else.
Yeah.
I think competition is being better than who you are yesterday. And if you think about the kind of person that you want to become in 10 years,
yes,
that's who you should be competing with.
Yeah.
Not this person that you're seeing here at the moment. If they stopped what they're doing and you surpassed them, you're going to look for someone else. But what if you had this idea of that person you want to be in 10 years? It might be crazy. Like, you can probably be having some weird dream. But the good thing is that you're competing with yourself. And for me, like, I compete with myself. That's one thing I've actually learned. I never like to be that person who is competing with someone.
Yes.
Because the more you compete with someone, the first of all, you're always going to have some self-doubt.
Correct.
Your levels of self-esteem will actually be very low. Your levels of self-confidence will be very low.
Yeah.
So the more you sit down and compete with yourself, big problem. I'm going to take you to something, Chief. Overthinking is your biggest enemy.
Yeah.
All right. And there is a myth called the perfect time.
Yeah.
Let me read this to you. There is never a perfect time to start. Successful people start before they are ready and figure out things along the way.
Yes.
There is never a perfect time to start. What do you think about that?
That is entirely true, because if you're waiting for a bell to ring, the only bell that most of us are optimistic about is the one that we read in the Bible, the trumpet. That we are just optimistic about that, and we don't know when it will be blown, right? Our forefathers died waiting for it. Our grandfathers and our grandmothers, us will die waiting for it, because it's not given. So, but it doesn't take away from the fact that people believe we'll go in heaven eventually, right? So now, if you're waiting for the perfect time to come, you will never start anything, because perfect time does not exist. You know, the perfect time for something is when an opportunity meets preparedness. That's what people call luck. And I would associate that with perfect timing, because perfect timing can never be calculated. We are not in a race. We are not in chess. We are not in games that can be curated. No, this is life. By the way, you have never lived today. You know, so you cannot curate tomorrow and be 100% correct. You know, tomorrow you can't say, I want to make $100 million. With which formula, you know? You can't just curate it, you know. But if you have some, what do we call it, foundation on how things are done, you can estimate, not even curate, estimate using past papers or proven formulas that have been working for you to predict a possible outcome. Not even 100%, a possible outcome. You know, perfect time, in my thinking, shouldn't even exist in diction.
The perfect time to start.
Yeah, perfect time to start. Because perfection does not exist. You can't be 100% good at something. You can't be 100% on time. You can't be 100% okay. You know.
I think also people have this whole thing wrong, especially when you find someone spending like 6 months saying, I want to start this business in the next 6 months. So they spend all the time researching.
Yes.
You can believe me that after 6 months of research, that person is not going to start the business.
There is a certain theory I heard someone say that the more you share an idea and you don't work on it, even the strength to work on it, you will share it with your idea together.
Yeah. In fact, there is something I refer to as mental masturbation.
That's the word I was avoiding.
Yeah. Let me actually, I think it's good for us to talk about that.
Yeah.
There are people who have grand ideas. Someone has this grand idea, they want to start this business. But the problem is that they talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And the reason they're talking about it is that when they talk about it, people are like, wow. Yeah. So this guy is driven, he has this dopamine hits. Yeah? These dopamine hits is like you're having sex.
Yeah.
So the more he talks about, have you ever met someone who all the time anakwambianga, me I have a project, my friend. Brother, ile project niko nayo, the project I have.
So that, you know, in their mind, they have engineered themselves to that wowness. When you wow to their idea, when you are impressed, that makes them feel happy now.
Some of the biggest mental masturbators I've seen in Kenya today are developers.
Yeah.
Developers will come and tell you things like, hey, brother, the system I'm about to build.
You just wait.
Let me show you. I've even seen like some of the guys who don't masturbate mentally are guys in cybersecurity. Like if that guy is going to penetrate to your phone and get into it, he will do it. Like, and then I also think, I don't know, siko ubaya, but I probably think that some of us are also affected by mental masturbation in a way because of the words that we hear our pastors say. Because a pastor is going to say something like, I proclaim a car into your life.
Yeah.
I proclaim a vehicle. See, declare. Have you ever realized that when you hear a pastor saying that, you don't even think about God. You think about the car.
Yeah.
And then inside you, you're like masturbating. You're feeling,
it is me and the car.
You get? So, and that's why you find that people are so used to manifesting things instead of working towards them.
That's the thing now. Because again, manifestation is very important if you think about it, but must be followed without fail by work.
Action.
Manifest, then work. Because again, if you don't manifest something, that shows your inability to think highly of yourself, because no one manifests a bad thing about themselves.
It's a thing I actually learned. But the perfect time to start is never there. I've seen people who've delayed time to actually start businesses, people who've delayed time to actually start their personal brands.
Yes.
Like you see, at the moment, one of the things I've realized with so many people, businesses, organizations, and companies, is that people want to get into social media. But they're like, it's not yet.
It's not yet time.
Just wait. So 2 years have gone by. So in 2 years' time, you could probably have grown an account to 20,000 followers.
Yes.
You get? But someone is like, I want to buy a good camera next year.
Next year that never comes. By the way, after every year, there is always a next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unakutanga mtu amesema, iPhone, they've said iPhone 16. I'll only start when I buy iPhone 16. In fact, I always tell people that if you have to wait, if you have to do something by you getting a particular thing for you to start, then you're going to be doing the wrong thing.
Actually, the best way to put it is, because that particular thing is the motivation. If you need motivation to do something, then you're doing the wrong thing.
You're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. You are not supposed to be motivated to do anything.
Like, I remember when I was starting content creation, you know, I started with a Redmi 10C.
Simu fulani ilikuwa inawaka moto sana.
Nilikuwa na hiyo phone ukienda live nayo bana.
Karibu itoe moshi.
Guy, I used to even have. But the funny thing is that after starting content creation, like venye nilianza kugrow hivi, so I went home. Kismat tu nakutaa bro yangu na ka iPhone 6s.
Yeah.
Ananiambia iki kakasimu haka ni picha tu kanapiganga haka. Nikamwambia ati kanapiga picha na video, hebu nione. Kamwambia leta shika. Then I went to the iPhone 10
6s.
6s at iPhone 10. So I went and started posting videos with it. And the videos used to go viral, by the way. Watu walikuwa wananiuliza, which camera are you using?
Yes.
Go like iPhone. Wakajua nika 6s. But then I sat down and like 2 years later on, I've realized I have like cameras. I have sound equipment.
Yes.
But I had to start somewhere.
Correct.
And I didn't have to wait for the perfect time. There are guys who are saying that I'll quit my job. Nikisave 750,000 na unalipwa 5,000 kila mwezi. When will you save 750,000 as a salary?
In fact,
and then you're fired, you are COVID.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
You know, the mentality of perfect time denies you the privileges of learning in the process. Because there are some privileges. You see the way you started content creation, now you've learned from a Redmi to an iPhone to an hour camera. You didn't skip that journey. All right? We're not saying everyone is supposed to go through that route, but you can start somewhere because it will give you an advantage in terms of the roots, how deep your roots go. It's beautiful to see a tree, but how sure are we when the flood comes to sweep the inaitangwa nini mchanga ya hapa juu? How deeply rooted are you in whatever it is that you're doing? You know, start when there is a virtue called obedience. Yeah, obey when you're prompted, because if you don't, nature, I don't know whether it's nature, people in faith can explain this to us, but if you're prompted to do something and you fail, the same prompt will come to me. I will do it, and nature will make sure you have seen me succeed in something that you failed to do and you had the opportunity to do it. I don't know how that works.
It's the same way. It's like it's a phenomena I like to refer to as the zero grazing neighbor phenomena. Where one neighbor has a very good zero grazing unit.
Yes.
Started it, worked so well, then you go and start it. Because you think that it's going to work for you. It doesn't work. Another neighbor starts.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Then another neighbor starts. It doesn't work. They keep wondering, what is this guy who actually did it? What did they actually do? It's a very interesting phenomenon. I want to share something about the science behind overthinking.
Yeah.
So, I'm not like a neuroscientist or something like that, but your brain itself is wired to protect you. Overthinking is a survival mechanism.
Yes.
Your brain tries to prevent risk. Have you ever gotten into a relationship and you're like, hey, na udemu huyu venye ananiona si anaweza nikula dust in 2 years?
That's the thing with even the modern way of doing things. Yeah, we are getting into something very risk averse. That's the word. The Englishians, is that the word? Very risk averse. Being risk averse is not noticing the opportunity, but the very first thing you notice in that venture that you want to enter into is how it can fail, not how it can succeed.
You never see success.
You will never. Same approach when it comes to relationships. If you're looking for red flags, you will find them in the morning.
In plenty.
In fact, they will be calling you, tuko hapa kwa hii corner, hapo ndipo tunafichangwa.
Utaona hadi red flags za pasta.
Yo, hata moja yenye iko yellow ilikuwa inataka kuingia kwa red. Sasa unaiona ikiwa red zote.
You are what you think about.
You're what you think about. You're made up of your thoughts. And again, why fear something that you know at the end of it all there is some guarantee?
It's an interesting thing. There are people who are called avoidants. These are people who don't like facing situations.
Do you know for me, when it comes to starting something, I know I must win at the end of the day. That is something I know. Not necessarily winning in that thing working, but if it fails, I know better.
You will live with a lesson.
Yes. If it succeeds, well, I have won. All right? So either way, I make it a win-win situation. Me, I have never lost. And I will never lose. You know, I might lose money in investing something that will probably never take off, but I'll know. Next time when I see someone investing in that, in the same formula, by the way, I'll tell them, hey, this formula I have tried, this specific one, right? But hapa mbele, you might need to tweak one or two things. Personally, I've won there because now I have knowledge on how to not approach.
I think it's also important for people to have that. You take a perspective on not really overthinking about things, especially. Like, for example, let me take this business scenario. A lot of people think about the risk so much. You know, you're told as an entrepreneur, you're a risk taker.
Yeah.
But no one tells you the risks.
Yeah.
So you're only thinking risk taker. You don't look at the things you will learn.
Yes.
And you see also people start overthinking it. If I start this business, how much is it going to be making me a month? So you're telling me the business will make me 1 million and the expenses I have at the end of the month, mimi nitakuwa nabaki na 3k. You're like, no. You're not seeing the big picture. You're just seeing the 3,000 you're going to be making at the end of the.
Yes.
Good thing your bills have been paid. Umebaki na 3k.
Yes.
It's not a big problem. But in the process, what else can you do to add more value and get more money? Because if you're able to maintain the same amount of money being paid and increase your revenue.
Yes.
Si uko sawa?
Yeah.
But most people have this idea of overthinking. Like I was telling a guy the other day, why don't you just quit your job? You're earning 25,000 Kenya shillings.
Yes.
You're a developer.
Yeah.
Why don't you just quit and start freelancing? So the guy is like, where will I get clients? Clients nitatoa wapi? Where do you think I'm actually going to be getting clients? Like the guy is already thinking about the problems, the perils behind this particular decision they're making.
Yeah.
It's the same way you can actually tell a parent that when your kid joins university, tell them to also be learning some extra skills.
Yes.
Buy them Udemy courses. And the parent is like, no, this child is probably going to start not concentrating in class.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, they don't need to be doing it every day. Most of us, like, I think the way we are wired as human beings, I think we're all wired to think about negativities first before the positive thoughts.
A defense mechanism, yeah.
I was reading a book that was saying that for every 3 positive things that happened in our lives, one negative thing happens, but we care so much about the negative thing.
Yes.
Not the 3 positive things that have happened. Like today, you woke up in the morning. Umetembea huku kwote, you've come and shot the podcast.
Correct.
Everything has gone seamlessly. You've the recording has become successful. Photography has been done. Then you've left. You've walked safely. Nothing has happened. No accident. No poisoning. You've eaten food. Then you get to your house. After you get to your house, unagongwa na kakitu kwa meza. You're like, sasa stress the whole day.
Yeah.
You forget all the positive things.
Yes.
Or probably when you get in the to your house in the evening, you probably received an email from a client who is telling you they no longer want to work with you. And immediately your brain is able to pick these up. Na inakuharibia siku mzima. You realize how relationships are ruined easily. Because people forget about the positive things and really concentrate on the negative things. Like, go and ask someone about the positive things about their partner.
Hi. My lord.
Atafikiria, but mwambie ebu, na huyu mtu wako anakuwa na shida gani? Huyu mtu ni kumbafu hii.
Huyu anatupikianga chumvi na chakula kwa umbali.
He's a bagger, you've never seen them even hata anangorotanga. But tell them, like, actually, if you even want to know, if you want to take this question, take it to a heartbroken person. Ata banja, udem, hata sijui nini, sijui. Yeah. And I realized, by the way, we become more toxic by allowing negative thoughts and ideas to actually be part of our lives. Like, all we do is process negative emotions each and every day.
Yes.
Like right now, I got to a point I stopped criticizing Kasongo. You may realize the more I'm becoming negative, the more I'm becoming toxic. So when I hear someone saying Kasongo, I'm like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Because now, I'm becoming that kind of a person who is very negative. Because my brain is like, you don't even need to tell me a lot of things. Sema tu Kasongo. Already my brain is like thinking the economy.
Like, I'm already sad.
Or immediately, like,
yeah.
Like, if you think about it, so why don't you prevent yourself from overthinking, first of all, and taking negative emotions as the first thing you process?
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you, you've called your girlfriend or your boyfriend.
A girlfriend, where?
A girlfriend. No, like, okay.
Yes, I have called my
Called
girlfriend.
your girlfriend. Yes. All right. I'm just saying because,
hypothetically.
Today we have a gender balance
in the studio.
So, like, you've called your girlfriend. Hajachukua simu.
Yes.
You've called the second time. You've called the third time. Do you know your brain is wired not to think about anything positive?
Maybe she might be busy.
You can't think that she's preparing supper for you. You'll think udema kona
kimoto hapa. There's someone who is taking my space.
Who ananyoroshwa baba. Kugongewa na gongewa. Have you ever seen someone who's like, bro, like, you think and you're like, by the way, and then all of a sudden unasikia knock on the door. Hi, nilikuwa kwa Uber, I didn't hear them. And then you're like, what the hell was...
Then now you are guilty.
You get... Like, sometimes I think... I've realized that over time that the more you allow negative emotions to be part of your processing abilities or your cognitive abilities, the more negative you become as a person.
Yeah, I think there is a science behind it. Those of you that are well endowed in matters of science and brain and all that can tell us why it is very difficult for your body to process something positive immediately, but something negative very quick. In fact, we tend to relate very, and own it. Yeah, if you go on stage, you pull up a very good performance, right? Even the people themselves will, at the end of the day, notice pahali ulingoa, shai na chai, migurudumu na migurudumu. Yeah, that is what will take the entire. So it's not only in you as a person. I think it's some certain form of wiring in our human nature to notice something negative and make a lot of noise about it. I think the evidence of negativity is so loud because we are used to thinking something positive is just normal.
Positive things are just normal. Actually, that's how watu wakiachana, they will never talk about the good things. They will always talk about the bad things that didn't happen. Now, as we wind up, I just want to share some. I want you to tell me whether you think this. I'm actually going to give you some few strategies on how someone can actually stop overthinking and take action. There's a rule, there's a method, it's a rule actually by a lady called Mel Robbins. I've seen her severally on TikTok. It's called the
stop spending your money on stupid
stuff.
Stuff.
Let me call it stuff. So the 5-second rule is that it's count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and take action before doubt creeps in. If you hesitate to send an email, make a call or start a project, count down and just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it.
Yes.
Number 2 is a 70% rule by Jeff Bezos. It's a decision-making method. You don't need 100% certainty. 70% is enough to act. Successful entrepreneurs don't wait for all conditions to be perfect.
Yes.
They make decisions and adapt. Number 3 is set a time limit on decision making. Give yourself a deadline to stop thinking and start doing.
Yes.
I'll spend 2 days researching and then I must make the first step.
Yes.
Number 4, action outpowers perfectionism. Done is better than perfect. Example, post that video, launch that business, publish that article, improve as you go.
Yes.
Successful people don't iterate. They just start at first. Reduce the information overload. Too much research and advice leads to confusion and inaction. Focus on 1 to 2 sources.
Yes.
Learn enough to get started. Take action.
Yeah.
Finally, reframe failure as a learning process. Failure is equals to data. Every setback is just feedback on what needs improvement. What's your take home?
Failure is an opportunity. Maximize on it. And fire everyone in that board meeting in your brain and start working. Because number 1, perfect time does not exist. And if you don't work, you don't work. If you don't do it, you don't do it. There is no other way out. Because if you don't do something, then expect positive results. Who are you trying to fool? So stop being your own enemy and stop overthinking.
You do it.
Yeah, do it.
For me, I say perfectionism lies to you that good is bad. Perfection makes you think that you have to wait for the perfect time. The time is now. Start it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do it.
Good.
That's the EE Powertalk. My name is Daddy Blessing. See you in the next one.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Subslime.
Subscribe.
Subslime.
Subslime.
Yeah.
Scribe.
It is what it is, man.
Good.